I think two things out of that. One, again, it all goes back to your mind, and it's your relationship and how you view money. One of the smartest guy I've ever met with money is Marvin. He's a guy who similar story with growing up in kind of a lot of poverty, and he was on a previous podcast guest, and now this guy does $1 million days,
Yep.
and he's just an absolute boss. And he kind of got to a point though, and it's to my second point. He says, I won't even teach you about money. I'll teach you about mindset. And then,
Yes.
then we'll talk about money, because I don't care if you make $1 million a day. If your mind's not right, it doesn't matter. Like, it all starts in the mind, whether that's health and fitness, fatherhood, whatever it is, it starts, you got to win that battle first there. And then my second takeaway from that is, man, just looking at a guy like you, Victor, and thinking about the other people I know, tragedy hits everybody, right? And then it's how you respond. And you said a couple times in this podcast, never again, never again. And, I see certain other people roll down and they lay dead. And that's what breaks my heart, man, is, you're one committed choice away from saying never again. And today can be your day. If you're listening to that and you feel like you've been going through that struggle, it's not your fault often. It's not your fault that what happened to your dad, right? It's not your fault that what happened to some of these things. Life is going to knock you down, but you don't have to choose to stay there, right? And that's what I admire so much about you, man, is you got back up fighting and you said, never again, this ain't going to be me,
Like, like my dad was, like, when he was good, big, loving, give you the last $5 out of his wallet, like, would love you and tell you I love you to death, like, real emotional guy. But he taught me a lot on that end. Like, I wherever I leave, I don't say goodbye, say, hey, see you later. Or like, I always say, that's why you see me say, hey, make sure you tell people you love them. That was one of his things. Like, because he was in jail all the time. He'd always tell me, son, the worst thing you could do to someone is leave them alone. Always tell people you love them when they leave, because you don't know when you're going to see them again, because he lost his brother. That's how, like, the substance abuse stuff started. And to make it worse for him, not to give him no excuses, but he named me after his brother he lost. So every time he called his son, was that reopening that? I don't know. I never got to ask him before he left. So was that reopening that wound every time? So I always thought, hey, I'm going to be good. Like, I'm going to be good for my dad. So at least turn it into something good, So I kind of always had that. And I just, now it's turned to money. Now I'm thinking, like, okay, like, I'm going to make sure we have enough money and our money's good. So then we don't have to worry about money. We could go like, hey, son, what's your passion? What do you want to do? How can we make a business out of this? Because now, like, fighting was hard, like losing relatives and all that's hard, but like starting a business, like, that's a whole other beast. Yeah. And I'm learning, I'm like, whoa, like, this is like, maybe this is what this prepared me for,
Yeah.